My name is Corporal Davis, and I work as a Corrections Officer at the Mobile County Metro Jail. I work in the Transportation Department, and I'm responsible for moving the inmates to and from the courthouse. My day usually starts pretty early, so I come in and check the mailbox and see if we have any medical runs that we need to do. A medical run could entail taking the inmate to the hospital for radiology, taking the inmate to a clinic run for plastic surgery, or just having general surgery and altogether. But along with the medical runs, we also do court runs. Court runs, we're taking the inmates from the jail to the courthouse, back from the courthouse to the jail. Along with the medical runs, the court runs, we're also taking the inmates to prison, picking them up for court, and bringing them back to the jail. For example, when we're taking the inmates from the jail to the courthouse, we have to make sure that's the right inmate. We're handcuffing them, putting them in the van, we're getting them to the courthouse, where we're passing the inmates on to the personnel at the courthouse. They're checking them in, we're searching them again to make sure they don't have any contraband or anything that they didn't snuck by us. Along with the clinic runs, we have to take these inmates to whether it be the hospital, where they do radiation or radiology, general surgery. We have to sit with them. So that could be from 2 hours, maybe sometimes it's 5 or 6 hours. We bring the inmate back, we take them to the clinic, they get assessed again, and we pretty much do that all day, every day. Typically, the stress level is it's pretty moderate when you have everything going a certain way, but once it takes one inmate to mess up the whole day, that one inmate can have your stress level this high. We have vehicles that break down all the time. That's stressful. Working by yourself when you have 20 to 30 inmates that the judge needs like ASAP, that's stressful when you can only transport 12 at a time. A lot of the hours, the hours are long. Some days I come in at 3 o'clock to get on the road to beat the traffic, only to get stuck at another prison or maybe 2 or 3 hours just for waiting. Then you have to travel to another prison. I'm scheduled to work 40 hours a week, but with all the overtime that I get, I typically work 70 hours a week. To be qualified to work as a correctional officer, you gotta have a GED or high school diploma, be 19, but to work in transportation, you have to be CDL qualified and you have to qualify with the Glock 22. Because you have to be CDL qualified because we're transporting inmates more than 16, which state requires that you have a CDL and a passenger endorsement. We have to transport them by a bus, which can be 23 to 33 inmates at one time. And a CDL is pretty much a commercial driver license, which requires you to transport more than 16 people at one time. Some skills to work in transportation, you pretty much have to have thick skin, attention to detail, be physically fit because you do a lot of walking. The best part about working at this job, well, in transportation, you have the holidays off. And you're supposed to work 8, but a lot of times you work 10 to 12 hours, but it's good overtime. And the worst part of the job is sometimes having to work by yourself. The hours are long on days you don't feel like working. Good advice that I would give anybody trying to become a correctional officer, I would look at it as a good entry to come into the law enforcement, because you can use this as a stepping stone to better yourself in law enforcement. Because if you can't deal with the inmates or that's in a controlled environment, being out on the street is going to be way difficult. So I would just use this as a good stepping stone to being in law enforcement.